Right, so it's been a few months since AirPods Pro 2 released. The hype has died down, and so I thought I'd give you guys my long-term thoughts and review on these earbuds because I'll be honest guys, I do feel like they're a little overhyped, and so I do want to delve into my thoughts. So let's begin with the design of these AirPods. And Apple has not changed much, which actually is not that big of an issue because the original AirPods Pro has a fantastic design for the most part. There were really no big issues. And so yeah, this is very similar to the OG Pros. The changes they've given us are the speaker holes, which I'll get to, the lanyard, which I don't use, but I can see being useful for others, and also the smaller grills on the actual earbuds. However, there is one big thing they did not address that was a major con with the OG Pros, and basically every AirPods to exist, and that is the glossy finish. So yes, as someone who had the original Pros without a case, and used them as my main earbuds for 2 years straight, they have scratches everywhere and it looks pretty bad, and so it would have been nice if AirPods Pro 2 got a matte finish, but thankfully I can somewhat fix this by putting a case, and yeah, I slapped a case on this day one because I don't want this to get scratched up like the OG Pros. And so yes, hopefully with a future version of AirPods, we do see a matte finish. Now let's move on to the fit because I was not expecting an upgrade in this department, but the extra small tips do make a big difference. If I violently move my head about, they stay in place and they're actually a little more comfortable to use compared to the small tips I had with AirPods Pro 1, so yes, that was a nice surprise. Though as I said in my recent review regarding the Pro 1s, I can go back to the small tips, they are still pretty good, but the extra small tips do make a difference. And that actually is a nice segue to audio quality because I did not see much of a difference in this department, and I was surprised by that because nearly every review has mentioned the sound quality being that much better with the Pro 2s, and so I was expecting a lot. And while these sound very good, they just don't sound very different compared to the first gens, and really the only difference I noticed was slightly better bass. Though I do want to mention, I'm not an audiophile, I'm a casual listener, so maybe that's the reason I have not seen much of a difference. But of course, most people buying AirPods are not going to be audiophiles. And so yes, I would not get too excited by the reviews. The sound quality definitely is pretty good, but it's not a huge upgrade over the first gens. However, that being said, some of you guys might have not had the first gens, in which case, yes, these sound very good. They are basically as good as earbuds get, audio-wise. And I do want to mention, I don't use Apple Music, which I'm assuming is more optimized for AirPods. I use Spotify, so even with that, I do appreciate the sound quality on this, and it sounds very good. And by the way, would like to remind you guys, like this video and subscribe for more content like this, it would be appreciated. But now let's move on to ANC and transparency mode, and this by far is the highlight feature with these AirPods because the upgrades here are pretty amazing. So ANC has been great for me for the last few weeks, and particularly this week it's been useful because it's been pretty windy in the UK, so blocking all that sound out and getting to focus on my music when out and about, I do appreciate. However, I do want to mention that for those who've never had ANC headphones, don't think ANC is going to completely block everything out. That's what I thought would be the case. When I got my first pair of ANC headphones, the Sony XM3s, I would say ANC blocks out 90% of sounds, but there are things like voices that still can be heard, but it definitely does help you focus on the music or podcast you're listening to. And for those wondering, like the first gen Pros initially faced, has the ANC got worse with these? Well, thankfully that's not been the case. They're as good for me as they were day one, so yes, ANC wise they're very good. But transparency mode is what's the real game changer with these AirPods because I use this feature pretty often on the bus to listen out for stops and announcements. And so now with AirPods Pro 2, I can leave that on, but of course, harsher sounds will be blocked out. And that makes a big difference because my ears for one are not going to be blasted by sirens, but also I can still focus on whatever I'm listening to while of course background sounds mostly disappear. And yes, when I'm outside I do often hear police and ambulance sirens. It's a very common occurrence, and so these automatically blocking those harsh sounds is a big game changer. Another big feature I thought I never needed was volume controls with the actual stem. So previously with the first gen Pros, I usually used my Apple Watch to control the volume, and this did work fine for the most part, though I will say it's pretty easy to accidentally increase or decrease the volume because the crown does not stay in one place, it can be easily moved. And so having controls on the stem now does make a big difference because they're very easy to use and they don't get accidentally triggered. And so yes, I am surprised I rely on this now because initially when I got the Pro 2s, I thought I'd never use the volume controls, but I was completely wrong about that. And ultimately it's pretty nice. I can control the media completely through the AirPods and not rely on other devices. That's pretty nice. And by the way, for those wondering how spatial audio is, it definitely is a nice gimmick that I do play with, but I'll be honest, I do actually forget after a few weeks whether it's on or off. It does not make that big of a difference. Though again, as I said, I don't have Apple Music, I use Spotify, so maybe that's why I have not seen much of a difference when using spatial audio for music. But yes, ultimately, I couldn't care less about this. Now let's get to battery life, and yeah, these have been fantastic. I've had no issues battery-wise. If I watch a long movie with these, I still have plenty of charge left at the end of the day, so yes, battery-wise, these are very good. They also charge up pretty quick in the actual case. However, I do want to mention that occasionally I do have the situation where one of the earbuds don't align properly with the charging strip in the actual case, and so sometimes when I take them out, one of the earbuds are completely dead, but the other's 100%. And so that's mildly annoying, though to be fair, I have experienced this with older AirPods. It's just AirPods being AirPods, and to be fair, it doesn't happen that often. Now regarding the Apple ecosystem benefits with these AirPods, the automatic switching works pretty fine for the most part, though as I've experienced with AirPods for years, they're not perfect. 8 out of 10 times they do connect, but there is that occasional time they don't, and so it's not perfect, but it's still better than most earbuds. And the speaker for Find My Features is pretty nice, but I have not lost these yet. Fingers crossed I don't, but because I haven't lost these, I haven't really tested that feature. I will say though, the speaker does make a big difference when charging these on a wireless pad because I have a case on these, hence the MagSafe connectivity is pretty weak. And so when I do place these on a wireless pad, having that speaker to confirm that yes, these are charging is pretty convenient, and so that makes a difference. Now you do have a skin detect sensor with these compared to the inferior optical sensor older AirPods have, but I'll be honest guys, I have not noticed much of a difference with these detecting when they're in my ears. They basically work as well as older AirPods, and also the mics on these are decent. Now I do want to mention, because of the limitations of Bluetooth, the mic quality with earbuds overall is not fantastic, but these are definitely better than most, and they are good enough for the occasional call. And here's a quick mic test for you guys. Let me know how this sounds. Now you have the H2 chip in this, and also Bluetooth 5.3 support, but connectivity wise, I've not seen a difference. They do occasionally have pairing issues, but it still works pretty well for the most part. And Siri, by the way, also responds just as fast as older earbuds. Now the case itself is IPX4 rated, that's appreciated. And for those wondering if I'm put off by the lightning ports on the actual case, I have actually never used the ports on these AirPods. I have it covered up with this case, and I would actually not mind AirPods going portless. So yeah guys, that's basically everything, and to be honest, there's not a lot to complain about. I'm very happy with these earbuds, and I do want to mention, by the way, I got these for a good discount. I paid 160 or 70 pounds, I believe, which is way less than retail price. I'm pretty chuffed with these AirPods, but I do want to mention audio-wise, they're a little overhyped, and while the quality of life improvements are nice, AirPods Pro 1, which can still be found for much less, does offer a very similar experience. However, if you're new to AirPods, or your first gen Pros are on their last legs, then yes, definitely get these. There are definitely some nice changes. Anyways, if you do have questions regarding these AirPods, let me know in the comments. Anyways, thank you for watching guys, make sure to like and subscribe for the latest Apple news and rumours, and on that note, I'll see you guys in the next one.